Hvor vi nå?
Redmond, utenfor Seattle. Microsoft Campus, rett og slett.
Microsoft Campus,
ja.
Hva skjer her?
Bortsett fra jetlag. MVP Summit 2025. Veldig interessant. Første dag i dag. Vi blir jo her mandag til fredag. 8 til 17 hver dag.
Fulle dager.
Fulle dager.
Pluss litt på kvelden nå, vel?
Ja, så lenge vi orker.
Så lenge vi orker.
Ja.
Så MVP Summit, hva er det for noe greier?
Det er konferansen for alle oss som er MVP-er. Er det rundt 3500 på verdensbasis.
Alle er ikke her. Alle er ikke her.
Nei, alle er ikke her, men det er noen tusen.
Ja.
Vi blir invitert over av Microsoft en gang i året, så får vi snakke litt med folk og litt sånn forskjellig.
Spennende. Så vi har tatt en tur hit i dag for å kjøre virtual lunch fra USA, rett og slett.
En litt annerledes variant.
En litt annen variant, ja. Så vi tenkte vi skulle snakke litt med folk som vi treffer her på campus, og sende dette som en virtuell lunsj tilbake for dere i Norge, mens vi ligger og sover på natten. Vi fant jo en live-opsjon, var ikke det beste her.
Nei, det ble vanskelig.
Så vi finner noen spennende folk, og så får dere følge med litt og høre litt hva dette dreier seg om.
Vi lover å finne noen bra folk å snakke med.
Det blir bra.
Ja.
Yes.
So, Bryan, we're here at the MVP Summit.
Yes, we are.
In Redmond.
Yes.
Currently at the, what do you kind of call it?
This is the networking mixer.
Yeah.
Which is very crowded.
Super crowded now. And Bryan, you have a really interesting story because you used to be an MVP. Now you're a program manager at Microsoft.
That's right. So I actually started my career all the way back in 1999, ASP and SQL 6.5. And I built an entire development career on the Microsoft stack. I've worked for a number of partners that worked with Microsoft. And in 2010, I started working with Azure. And I fell in love with Azure. I just loved everything about it. I loved building applications for it. And it was just so interesting to me, and I knew that was the future.
Yeah.
And so at about 2010, I started really talking to the community, doing a lot of Azure meetups, doing things like that. I loved presenting, I loved talking to people. And I used a content management system at the time, and they were also getting into Azure. So I kind of worked with Microsoft and this content management system to help them run in Azure. So way back, I used to be on what was called the SQL Azure Buddy team. And I would give the SQL Azure team, that tells you how long ago, I would give them guidance as to what I think they should change in the product. And I would just start to speak, and I realized I really like to speak, I really like to help the community, I like to help people. And so I was actually an MVP for that content management system for about 4, 5, 6 years. And then I went to go work at that content management system as their technical evangelist, and then ran their MVP program. So now I'm running an MVP, a global MVP program. It wasn't as big as Microsoft's, it was a little smaller, but we had global conferences. But all the while I was an evangelist, so I was always presenting, always talking. And actually I always loved Azure. And so I always found ways to talk about Azure.
Because you were in Azure we had 15-year anniversary of Azure now.
That's right.
And you were there from
I was there at the beginning. What you know now is Azure App Services, used to be Azure Websites.
Yeah.
I used that product and I worked with the Azure team to help them test it before it was ever released. It was called something else, but eventually it became websites, which then became app services, whatever. So I always continued to do presentations as a technical evangelist for the company I worked for, but I always blended Azure into the mix because I just loved talking about it.
Yeah.
And in 2017, I actually was an Azure MVP. And I got to go to an Azure Summit, or an MVP Summit as an MVP.
Yeah.
It's a great time, I loved it. It's a lot less stress than my job now, but for the summit, but I really enjoyed it. And in 2019, I joined Microsoft. And I was the cloud solution architect, focusing on developing, I would help customers develop applications for the cloud. And then last year, in 2024, I actually joined the MVP program team.
Yeah.
So I have a really unique background because I've been an Azure MVP, I've been an MVP at another organization, and I've helped run another MVP program. So one of the big reasons I think I was brought on for this role, and my current role now, is I kind of handle a lot of behind the scenes, operational data, reporting. I try to get systems in place to help improve our team's productivity in life, but our MVPs too. And because I was an MVP, I know exactly what our MVPs go through, and so I really try to use that.
And what does this, you've been the full circle, obviously.
Full circle.
And what does, after joining Microsoft, obviously you're in the MVP program now, but when you were in more technical roles, what does the MVP program mean to Microsoft in general?
You know, I think the MVP program may be the longest running program within the company. Okay. I think we're at 31 years. In my opinion, it's one of our most valuable things that we have as an organization. And the amount of work and the amount of time that our MVPs dedicate to a company they're not getting paid for. No, they're just doing it. Yeah. And as someone who was an MVP, and I've run an MVP program, what makes a good MVP is someone who has passion for that. You can see me, I light up just talking about Azure because I love this so much. But that's really what makes the MVP program so great, is the passion these people have. So we at Microsoft, I understand it because I did it, I've done it. Yeah. And so that's why I try to make the experience the best as I can for MVPs. But as an organization, our MVPs are industry leaders. They're technical experts. If you ask somebody who is the expert in a particular service, you probably won't even get a Microsoft person. You're going to get probably an MVP as a global expert in that technology. And that's just so valuable to us as a company, the passion, the drive, the ambition that these people have for our product and services. It's so valuable to us as a company. In addition to that, I mean, we get such valuable insights from MVPs, market guidance, where should we go with our products? How is the industry leading, which allows our product groups to understand, oh, we need to make sure we get these features in. These are gaps that we have. Oh, these are features people really like. Let's lean into those and make sure we have the best product we can for the company.
You think the program manager for whatever product in Microsoft actually benefits from interacting with the
absolutely. Our product groups, they love the MVPs in their award category, and the MVPs are like a lifeline to the industry. Microsoft's a big organization, and when you're inside it, especially on a particular product, you don't necessarily interact with customers. So in addition to my unique experience, I spent 5 years working at Microsoft, working directly with customers. And so I would hear a lot, but it's nothing compared to the hundreds or thousands of customers our MVPs are interacting with. And if all that information gets back to our product groups, it helps us develop the best products that we can and provide the best services. And so, I can't speak for everybody, but I'm certainly so appreciative of our MVPs because of the dedication and the work they put in, and I know everyone at Microsoft feels the same way.
With that, we'll end.
Excellent.
Great talking to you.
Good to, thank you for meeting me.
Thank you, Bryan.
Thank you, Martin.
Okay. Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do at Microsoft?
Certainly. So I've been at Microsoft 4 years. I work in the Chief Technology Officer's office, Kevin Scott's org. I was brought in to build a venture studio, which is called Incubation Studio. But one of the other many things that I do in the CTO's office is I help run our internal AI, ML, and data science community, which is about 22,000 strong internally, and we do a number of conferences that are peer-reviewed, very deep and technical, and kind of share that knowledge across the inside of Microsoft.
Perfect. Nice. What do you think of the MVP Summit? Is this your first one?
This is, in fact. Yeah, no, certainly. We love it.
Yeah.
The reason why really is because when you're a huge platform company like Microsoft, it can be really hard to hear the things that are coming new, not from a technical standpoint perhaps, but definitely from a customer standpoint, at a variety of different levels. And so one of the reasons why I'm here, in fact, is our internal AI/ML data science community is super interested in partnering with folks from the MVP Summit to understand what's happening. How are people reacting to this novel technology of ours that we're working with? What kinds of problems are you seeing that AI is particularly applicable to, and that entire ecosphere?
Perfect. Nice. So have you been to any one of the sessions, or do you follow the program, or get to know people here?
I do. Yeah. I mostly get to know people. I'm familiar with the program. I work with the program committee as well.
Yeah.
But what are some of the sessions that have really struck you?
Well, I'm a security guy. My expertise and my contribution is in security. So let's say it shouldn't be a giveaway that I'm concerned about that stuff. So Entra and all the things that relates to Azure, like the security co-pilot and Defender for cloud and Defender solutions, that's my thing. So yeah.
Well, and AI makes that a whole lot harder.
Yeah.
What's been your perspective there on just how are your customers kind of responding to the fact that if you let an agent into a company ecosystem, it can have access accidentally to a lot more information than an employee?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How do you think about that?
Yeah, that's the same thing, because, and I think that's the major concern we discuss with our customers. Either if it's talk about any Copilot, like Microsoft 365 Copilot.
Yep.
It's the first and foremost that people concerned about. And you can see, and this is bring my perspective into the game, right? Because I'm an identity architect and I'm concerned about the IAM.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have access to a lot more information than they should have.
Yes.
But they need to find it. The Copilot has a tendency to help you do that.
It does. Yeah. For better and for worse.
For better and for worse. Yeah. So are you based here in Seattle,
I am.
Redmond?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm based in Redmond here. My building is 99. We share
99.
share the same building as Microsoft Research.
Yeah.
We do a lot of work with them as well.
Yeah. Do you have a big team?
So the office of the CTO generally ebbs and flows, because what happens in the office of the CTO is that we'll incubate something that we think is going to be important for Microsoft, and the team will necessarily grow as part of that, and then that team will kind of leave the office of the CTO and move into a product group. So right now we've just launched a number of incubations, and so our team actually is very, very small from an office of the CTO standpoint. But generally that means that something new is happening, and I can't talk about all those things, but there are new things happening, which is exciting.
This is the big NDA week, right? So we cannot share everything with our listeners here, but
100%, yeah,
100%. But that's the value being here. But what do you think us MVPs bring to Microsoft as a value proposition?
So I think that this value proposition of a novel technology like AI requires all hands on deck, particularly from your community, because you understand the customer problems in a much deeper way with all of your different customers than we do kind of at the large enterprise scale. We might understand the Fortune 500, which is nice, but the Fortune 5 million is a huge market cap, and being able to really understand the application of this technology, because it's so new, because we as users don't really entirely understand it ourselves, that's hugely valuable. So seeing those actual applications, those actual use cases, what your customers are concerned about, and how you are going about solving those things, huge.
This is perfect. Any last words to the Azure User Group community in Norway?
Oh man, so I've never been to Norway. I wish I could, because I'm a third Norse, in fact, genetically. But very grateful for all that you're doing there. We're excited for the things that you're working on there. And thank you for sending some great fellows to understand what we're doing here at Microsoft in Redmond.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't think any of the Microsofties are going to be flying their helicopters over top.
Hopefully
you never know.
not. But you never know. The big guy's coming.
You never know.
The big guys are
You never know. Satya Park's right over there.
on top of the building.
So we're live, guys. So
Okay, nice.
Want to start.
Rick Claus,
Nice
the
to see
man
you, my friend.
with the cool hat and camera,
Cam-
always.
Yes.
One more time, please, because I talked over it.
Oh, what?
Now.
No.
Rick Claus, the man with the cool hat
Thank you so much.
and camera.
Yes.
What's your gig?
So, I am the unofficial official photographer that's taking pictures here at the MVP Summit on campus.
All right.
They like me as a photographer because I kind of know a lot of the Microsoft people, and I also potentially know what you're allowed to talk about and not talk about. So I know when to take a picture and when not to take a picture.
Because everything here is secret, right?
You got it. But I also like the fact that it's MVP Summit. I get to meet all of you folks
Once
and
a
be
year.
able to talk about it at least once a year in person.
And what is your role as a cloud advocate the team lead or whatever it's
Team
called.
lead, yeah. So I lead a team of 8, 9-ish people, depends on the day you ask, that create content. Create content from the point of view of blogs, videos, video shorts, documentation, Microsoft Learn content, all technical related. Think of it as engineers to engineers, training of how they can go off and use Microsoft technologies to solve the problems that they have.
Okay, so they're not consultants.
Not necessarily, no. It's literally for anyone that's used a Microsoft product, and my team happens to live all the way across the world, anywhere from Africa to Europe to North America to Australia and beyond.
Okay, so let's say you have 1 or 2 in each
Yep.
part of the world.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so my team focuses on Azure infrastructure and Azure security, or security in general, because security is everywhere. I used to also have a team that did specifically cloud native and Kubernetes, but because that team has gotten so big, you got it, we decided to split that team off, specialize just in that one area, and also include some open source there too.
Okay, nice.
So basically, you can almost kind of think of it as I'm the head of the non-dev DevRel. You heard of developer relations before?
Yeah.
The concept of basically, hey, we've got outbound content we have to create, and we also have inbound messaging that comes back that we can use feedback to make the products better. But my audience is typically people that work in infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. But how does it compare to the MVPs like us?
So MVP-wise, everyone that happens to be in the MVP program been nominated. They get awarded their particular award in a technology category or solution area. And they specialize in creating content as well.
Yeah.
But generally they work for partners, they work independent, they work as consultants, and they get access to be able to interface with the product teams directly. We're at like a scale for broader inbound communications coming in from events, coming in from activities, that necessarily is feedback that's not coming from MVPs. So I find the MVP program gives you very detailed, very trusted content feedback and product feedback specific in your area of expertise, like Azure Kubernetes and open source as an example. And you can take your insights from when you work with customers, when you go off and do deployments, when you use it yourself, on how to make things better. My team does it in a bit of a different scale. It's more broad, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
More broad.
But still, your team needs to be, as an MVP, I can be critical to how Microsoft developed their software or what product they put out.
Yep.
How's that for you?
So we also do the same thing, constructive criticism,
Of course.
to make things better, right? The whole point is to make things better. Basically, it's from more of a specific customer perspective that doesn't necessarily have the same level of access that you folks have as an MVP. Because as an MVP, you have direct connection to the engineering program and engineering teams and get asked to do these different events like this. Our feedback is going to be coming from customers that are using it, customers that might be engaged with partners as well. It's a slight nuance, but you also are a huge number of people as well. You've got scale, right?
Yeah, we're a few thousand, right?
Yeah, there's at least here at this event, there's over 1,200 people, 1,500 people, I think, in person.
Yeah.
And there's more online, and the program is quite large. I have a team of 9. So we don't have the same scale.
No,
so
exactly.
MVPs definitely have very much their pulse, their finger on the pulse of the community. We also engage with community, but we just can't engage at the same level of scale. The best part is, my team partners with you folks as much as we can to collaboratively build new content or to come up with events and co-present at these different events as we can. And also, hopefully, my team can potentially find speaking opportunities that you may not be aware of that we can have you folks go off and scale and go off and do different things.
And can we have the cloud advocates come to speak with our local events?
Oh,
for
heck
example?
yeah. Absolutely.
Awesome.
It's all a matter of timing. That's the biggest thing. It comes down to timing with whether or not you can fit into the schedule where we happen to be in the same city, or potentially if there's a call for content and you'd like to have us submit like everybody else, we're always open to submit and be able to do it. Like everybody else though, it all comes down to travel to figure out, can we make this travel work?
Yeah.
Let's just say it used to have a lot more travel in the past
did.
then COVID hit, and then changed to virtualization, changed to virtual events, slowly coming back to in-person events, but still, The industry quite isn't there just yet, but we're getting there slowly.
I have one question for you.
Sure.
As the advocate, if we try to look aside from AI, what's your top of mind for the next 12 months?
Aside from AI, what else?
I have to give you some hard questions.
No, geez, like everything's AI, right? That's what it all is. So for me, the cool thing in the next 12 months and things along those lines that I can talk about, my team on the infrastructure side of thing is done some partnering with the good old-fashioned Windows Server team. And with Server Technologies, we did the GA of Windows Server 2025. We're doing an event that's a virtual event coming up later in the month where we partner with the engineering team, and the engineering team is making the content for that particular event. Okay. And it's an interactive opportunity for things. But I know that there's some very cool technologies that are in there that I can't talk about just yet that they will be releasing as part of the regular cadence of releases for the operating system. And it works for people that are on premises, people that are hybrid, people that are running this inside of the cloud, people that are running inside of other people's clouds as well. So cool new technologies coming across the board on the Windows Server side of things. And that's my non-AI answer for what's cool and coming.
There probably will be an AI agent coming in there somewhere as well. Right?
I can't talk. I can't mention that. But likewise as well, like if it was on the AI side of things, my team and I are trying to figure out how we can really make it so that it's relevant to the infrastructure audience. Yeah. Because AI workloads, the way they're talked about right now, is all about what is it, how can I use it, how can I integrate it to my solutions, how can I do that kind of stuff. We're looking at it from the perspective of, hey, what does it actually mean? We need to implement this. How do you secure it? How do you scale it? How do you make sure it's redundant and it's going to be able to work in case there happens to be an outage and stuff like that? So we're trying to make a whole batch of content that's not on the developer side, that's from an infrastructure perspective that is relevant on the AI. It's a matter of the cycle. We get the hype cycle coming through, training the developers how to do it, how to be able to manage it, what they can do, envision it, and then the infrastructure and the ops teams partnering with them to be able to go off and
where are we now on the hype cycle?
It's still in the first part, still coming around this way. Still coming around that way.
Nice to talk to you.
Hey, good to talk to you as well, my friend. Cheers.